Hey everybody, this is Spencer. That's me. And I'm here to talk about what gaming will look like in the next 5 years. So yeah, 5 years from now, where does gaming stand? It's our favorite hobby, probably, for watching this. Maybe roller skating is, not sure. But gaming, it takes up all my life, a good chunk of it at least, and I love predicting about it. I love the business side of it as well as the actual playing the video games, my fingers. So I want to look at what it's going to be like in 5 years and make a bold prediction, or many bold predictions, as many as I can possibly come up with. As an entire whole, I'll look at it, and then I want to look at it by company, whether it be console manufacturers or game companies, which are kind of almost one and the same, but a lot of game companies out there to speculate on. I don't want to do like too in depth on the little stuff because I don't want to make this video crazy long, but I am very interested in it. So let's see where this conversation takes us. I have a couple notes here, so you see me glancing over. Don't think I'm spying on my neighbor, which I am. So I want to talk about gaming in general, how I think it's going to start out. So I think in the future, and we're already sort of seeing this, but you're going to see a lot more Netflix style gaming, whereas we're moving further and further away from actually owning games and physical copies. So that kind of stuff is definitely a thing of the past. I don't think it's gone in 5 years. I think there's still plenty of physical copies everywhere, but I definitely think the movement is happening, and you're going to see probably in the next 5 years, you'll probably see the first AAA game that they don't release as a physical, just to test the waters. They're going to see, will people buy it? I'm sure it'll get a lot of backlash, especially from the internet. And it's going to, not do as well as they want, but it's going to be a little reminder, like, this is coming. Expect it. We don't have to pay for a whole bunch of crap that would normally be associated with a video game. So it's going to be the way of the future. It's just going to have some obstacles at the beginning. And then, of course, you're going to see that Netflix style where you don't necessarily buy a game. You buy a rotation of games. And again, you're still going to be able to buy games, but you're going to see a change in that Netflix style where maybe older games will be there, or maybe a game, once it's been out for a couple months, it'll be pushed into a Netflix rotation. And a lot of those games you'll play off of a server. You won't actually download them. I think downloading games is going to be a thing of the past, which is ironic because storage, I believe, everyone sees it, is getting cheaper and cheaper. A terabyte nowadays is nothing. Absolutely nothing. It's like the lowest you can get. Whereas, 10 years ago, a terabyte was like, oh my god, how'd you get that? Maybe not 10 years ago, but you know what I'm saying. So, I think that style is going to be way different. And a lot of more games are going to develop into games as a service. Games as a service would be things like Fortnite, League of Legends, which I'm pretty big into. Newer ones include Rare's game, Sea of Thieves, that style. Just games that, instead of offering you like a really upfront big game, they develop over time if the community likes it. And so you're going to see a lot of games come out with not a lot of content, and people, old school people will be like, what the hell is this? Including myself. And new school people will be like, oh cool, I get to, do this cool thing with my friends. And as people continue to play that game, it'll pick up steam, and microtransactions are part of it, and they'll make money with it that way. That's, again, what I think is going to happen. If you like that, then great. If you don't like it, it's going to be a rough time. Definitely, I foresee that this is the way that it's going. And you're going to notice a common theme with my predictions is that it's a move away from single player and more of a focus on the multiplayer, more casual maybe audience. Single player isn't going to be completely gone, but it's definitely going to be less. And you're already sort of seeing it. We always like to say, oh, single player isn't dead. There's still tons of games out there for it, but there really aren't, especially in the bigger picture. Used to be a ton, and now it's definitely shifted more towards multiplayer. And a lot of single player games actually have multiplayer built into them as well, whereas before they wouldn't have. So, definitely foresee more of a trend in that direction. Single player won't be gone, but I think it's going to be more shoehorned for indie games, as you're kind of seeing right now, as they're like touting, oh, we have just like you remember as a kid, you know, like all the Zelda style games and a lot of platformers, Metroidvania style. That's still going to be there, but I think you're going to see it more of an indie movement, which is going to be even stronger, I think. People are going to really embrace indie more so than they already have. I mean, they're currently celebrated like crazy, but it's going to be more mainstream accepted, and I think a lot more people are going to buy into it, which is really great. I think that's going to be a really positive thing, is that focus on the smaller developers making those games that are more niche, which we're already seeing, but I think, again, we're going to see it more when the big groups focus more on the big multiplayer extravaganzas. I think mobile gaming is going to explode more than it already has. I think it's going to become, and you're going to see that I have a prediction with Nintendo that ties into it, but I think everybody's going to embrace mobile. And by everybody, I mean both sides, the consumer and the producer. They're all going to embrace mobile. It's inevitable because everybody's going to have a phone. Even the young kids will have phones. And somehow they're going to tie them all in together. You know, some phones are more powerful than others. It's kind of like a PC. It's a lot of different specs that they have to account for, but it's going to happen. They're going to be, I mean, the phone I just got is 8 gigabytes of RAM. That's as much RAM as a lot of computers do. Granted, it's not the same RAM, but point being, these little computers are perfectly capable for video games. And if you already have it, why would a parent buy anything else if they can give them a game on their phone? They already have one. It doesn't cost them more. So I definitely see a huge shift to mobile gaming. I think for the better. I think it'll improve because once you get that kind of competition in there where it's not just like a crazy marketplace for anybody, once you get like big people developing for it, and you can already see that a little bit, but once you get a lot of that going on, the quality starts to shine through, and you know, metrics get set, and people start really caring about that stuff. So I'm really excited to see where mobile gaming goes. I think VR is going to be bigger, and it will be tied in with mobile gaming. I think a lot of phones are going to be that mobile aspect. Again, why pay a whole bunch of money when you have a phone that can do it? You just hook up a thing to your face, and there's your phone, and then you can get your notifications on there, so you're still you're in the real world, but you're still immersed, you know, in your digital world. But you can say, oh, I got a notification on Facebook or whatever is popular at the time. Who knows? But I think VR is going to be a bigger thing, but not yet totally encompassing. I think in some point, maybe in 10 years, but not in 5. I think eventually mobile or VR is going to be huge, and it's going to be everywhere, and it's going to be everything, and you'll have to be VR. VR, or you know, it could go VR, or it could go Microsoft does it. The term is slipping out of my head, but the thing where altered reality or whatever that thing is called. Oh, I can't remember. I can't believe I'm forgetting. But where the reality is kind of altered, which is kind of VR, but there might be other ways to do it. I don't think it's going to completely take over, but it's going to be a thing, and it's going to be more accepted than it is now. Sony's doing a really good job with it, but I think it's going to end up on the phones. I think that's unavoidable as well. Now I want to talk about the companies. Nintendo, I don't foresee them going the console route for a whole lot longer. I would expect they're going to have a much larger mobile presence. I mean, they've already got basically a tablet as their console. Tablet's just a short stone's throw away from, a phone. So I think they're going to go that way. Their games have never, especially the last decade, haven't been intensive. There's no real reason to make them anything more than just a phone. Especially if you can hook it up to your TV, just as your phone. Like, imagine if your phone could fit into your dock. You know, it would be nice to be able to do notifications. I'm not sure how that's going to work out, because people love convenience, but Nintendo can find a way. They're a smart group. So that's where I think that's headed. Sony and Microsoft are still going to be locked in that, like, constant war that they're always in. So they'll probably be around the same area, but they're going to be doing the Netflix thing. Nintendo's going to be doing it as well. I should have mentioned that. But yeah, you'll see Sony and Microsoft still doing that. DRM is going to be huge. Always online. I would expect from them. They would have gotten backlash, but I think at this point it's going to be more accepted. If you're always online, there are some groups of people that are going to have a really hard time with this. There's groups in like rural areas that have a hard time with internet, and I don't know what's going to happen with them, but it's very clear to me that those people are in trouble as time goes on, especially if they're focused on games. But in really every aspect, you need to be connected to the internet, you need to be connected to the world. So to have those difficulties is a real setback for people that live there. So hopefully something either helps them, or they, might have to move, be a big city folk. Steam, so Steam is PC gaming in general kind of is tied to Steam heavily. There's other people, but I think Steam is going to have a Netflix as well. I'm surprised they don't already, actually. But Steam is Steam. It's going to keep being what it is. Digital is clearly the way to go. You can get much better sales out of it. So Steam, keep on being Steam. Now the smaller companies, EA. I don't have a lot. I think EA is going to keep being EA. They have Madden. That doesn't change. All that stuff doesn't really change. They're going to keep focusing on microtransactions and the same kind of style they've always done because people continue to buy it. The only thing I'm predicting is that I think BioWare is gone. I think at this point, I was kind of shocked that BioWare's still here, especially after all the other firings, not getting away. But all the other closures that they do, I'm kind of shocked BioWare is still here, especially after the Mass Effect issue. They're releasing a multiplayer game next. It looks cool, but why do you need BioWare for that? I don't know. I think they're gone. I don't see a reason why BioWare stays. It's sad, especially considering their pedigree, but that's my bold prediction. Ubisoft, I don't have a lot to say on Ubisoft. They're kind of a pretty consistent company, I guess. I do think that Far Cry is going to be more of a multiplayer game with story elements in it. I think that's a natural progression of that series. Bethesda, again, Elder Scrolls 6 is out and heavy multiplayer. I think they're going to learn a lot from Grand Theft Auto 5 and say, we need to put multiplayer in it and we need to make it crazy. And I think they're going to do a really good job with it. I think Bethesda is going to be awesome. They're already awesome, and they're going to be more awesome. I love that company. I love what they do. Square Enix, Final Fantasy 16 is multiplayer. I think that's a guarantee, and they're gonna keep making like the smaller RPGs like they have been. They've gotten some success with it. Not as much as I think people are saying, but they are getting success with the smaller retro-ish multiplayer, RPGs. So I think that's gonna keep happening, which is cool. But their American side, I think, is still gonna keep producing. So you got the Tomb Raider. Some of these might be European, but either way, the non-Japanese. Tomb Raider, IO Interactive. No, get rid of that. Tomb Raider, Just Cause. Is Hitman still a Square Enix? I don't think it is. I don't think so. But anyway, those games are still gonna come out, I guess. I don't really know what's gonna happen with those. But anyway, those are my predictions. I don't want this to go on too long, so those will be my predictions for the future. What do you think is gonna happen? Who knows? It's a crazy world we're gonna live in. I don't even know who's gonna be president. Probably Donald Trump. Probably. The way that, it's gone, it's always been two terms. That's a weird political jump. Anyway, I'm Spencer. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.